Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit, and it is, of course, my honor-bound and oath-sworn duty to inform you that Steam sells Desert Thunder. Not the same as Desert Gunner, although it could be very easily confused. It's a tank game from 2003. Those of you hoping for a more modern tank game will be, of course, sorely disappointed. It doesn't really have any of that. Nor does it have working mouse controls. There's some kind of strange stuff going on with the mouse cursor in the menu. It almost seems to just kind of give up after a while. It's like, hey, yeah, and then just stops moving. I don't know if there's some mouse acceleration nonsense going on, but it is a little bit weird. What is also weird is the way that this got onto Steam in the first place, because it's not through its original publisher. Its original publisher went by the name of Groove, and its original developer is Brainbox. However, Steam lists neither of those. Their developer is listed as Hip Games, who, as it turns out, are not a developer at all. I dug through various articles and discovered that apparently they were also responsible for Pariah, which is not true, because Pariah was made by Digital Extremes, the guys who made Warframe. So I dug a little deeper and found that they seem to be a publisher of some description, but they're certainly not the developer, and yet it's listed as such there on the page. Indeed, Brainbox, who are in the credits right here, not listed on the Steam page at all. And their publisher, Groove, not listed either. Who is Kiss Limited? Who are these people? Great question, because Kiss Limited are actually responsible for a lot of really old games that just popped up on Steam. And I know they weren't the original publishers for them. Things like Little Devil, which is that 1993 title. What is going on? Like, look at it. That's the publisher, Groove Games. Is that mentioned on Steam anywhere? No. Really weird. The only way that I can think that this has happened is that somehow another publisher has acquired kind of a defunct publisher's back catalog, but even then that doesn't explain listing the wrong developer on the Steam page. Also, I hope you like your M1A1 tank with a little bit of mild lounge electro jazz, because boy, we've got it for you. You know, it just me, like, there's been a lot of attention put on this tank. Like, honestly, for a 2003 game, that's not a bad looking tank. That's pretty well textured for a 2003 title, but then the plane in the background is just awful. Like, the nose isn't even the right shape. Look at that. Compare the two. Yeah. Also, was there a hot dog over there? Was I just hallucinating? It is possible. I've been known to do that from time to time. The giant... No, that does look like a hot dog. Yep, someone spent time rendering that. Huh. Alright. Let us have a look at Desert Thunder. You know, what I'm hoping is that one of these games that I pick up is actually going to be at least playable.
HQ, heavy resistance encountered at border. Massive casualties. Our M1A6 remains functional, but we are unsure about the others. Request intel, over.
Commander, you're all we've got left. Reinforcements are coming from the north, but you've got to go it alone if we're going to defeat these guys. Terrorist foot soldiers are armed with tank-busting RPGs, and you've got a division of Russian T-72s waiting right ahead. Make your way to the border gates and blast through them using your 120mm smoothbore cannon.
Roger that, HQ. We'll get the job done. Over.
Oddly specific, isn't it? You know, what would have surprised me even less is if after that they put, like, some brand name and TM. Your 120mm Mountain Dew smoothbore cannon, TM. Ultra Edition. That might work. Okay, well, frankly, voice acting not too terrible to begin with. Like, it's kind of 2003 level of sort of low-budget stuff. It's not awful. Alright, so apparently we start off with a cannon with basic shells and high-impact shells. Homing EMP? This is not realistic at all. Alright, let us begin. Oh, alright. Right, okay. Let us go, shall we? Let's just say the turret is a little weird in the way that it handles. It's just a little bit odd. There's something up with the mouse. I'm not sure what, but there's clearly something going wrong with that. Alright, it seems to be evening out now. I think there's some sort of mouse acceleration going on, which, as far as I'm aware, this game didn't come out on other platforms, but it may have been on PS2. Or original Xbox or something like that. Alright, well, let's follow the waypoints. It's certainly not letting me get lost, is it? Ooh, that view distance. Wow. Really? Okay, let's go back a little bit. Now, just bear in mind that I don't think it's necessarily fair to nail a game from 10 years ago to the wall for things like view distance, but I'm sorry, I remember playing stuff in 2003 that definitely had way, way better view distance than that. Alright, so it's an arcadey tank game of sorts, from what I can tell. And funnily enough, it doesn't actually feel that bad. It's certainly a hell of a lot better than Desert Gunner was. It's got a decent amount of destructible terrain. The sound assets on the guns aren't too bad, and I'll let you hear it. Well, the minigun sounds awful, but outside of that, yeah, it's okay. Doesn't sound too terrible. Now, I believe we picked up a different kind of cannon. Okay, so that's bound to the mouse wheel, so we have this high impact thing we can use. I like the focus on power-ups. You know, it's nice to have a little kind of arcadey tank sim. I hit a mine, apparently. Well, that's lovely. It's a hell of a lot better than Desert Gunner. I'll certainly start off with that. I like the way that the tank kind of moves across the terrain. Some of it's a little bit weird. You try and drive up a slope and you kind of slide around the place. But they got the arcadey aspect down. I mean, the fact that that boulder doesn't stop you, it can just ram through it with a tank. Oh, you could also do that, I guess, but oh well. Can I run over trees? Yes, of course. Trees explode. Rocks explode. You know, I can appreciate it when stuff is this stupid, you know? It's very easy to appreciate a game that clearly doesn't take itself seriously and is kind of going all the way into the arcade action style of doing things. Just like, hey, here's a tank, you have power-ups, you can apparently ram your way through large boulders because of the power of the US military. I mean, I could reverse through boulders, for God's sake. Look at it. I have the power of a god. And honestly, it's kind of hard to hate a game that does that. As weird as it sounds. We haven't had enough tank games lately. Have you noticed that? There's been a distinct lack of games where we can drive a tank outside of, say, Battlefield. And I've got to ask, you know, why is there a lack of games that involve driving a tank? I mean, does driving a tank ever get boring? I imagine in real life it does, but here, not so much. Can I ram this tower down? Oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping to be able to collapse that, but never mind. Rudimentary ragdolls. I don't even know if I call those ragdolls, actually. Yeah, they may just kind of be pre-scripted animations. It's entirely possible that they're not actually ragdolls, but this is running in the Unreal 1 engine, by the way, the original. You can probably tell. The texture work is generally fairly obvious. Just the way, everything about the way the UI looks as well is kind of, oh, this smells Unreal to me. You know, it definitely looks old, but gameplay-wise, it actually kind of holds up. Shockingly enough. I'd love to see a more modern title that did this, that just put you in a tank, gave you a bunch of ridiculous power-ups and said go. And we don't have that many games like that anymore. That's kind of weird. Because you'd think, you know, it would be relatively easy to make a game like that, one would think. Just make it enjoyable to drive tank. Too much to ask? Don't see why not. Can I drive through this? I just love that it lets you do that. That is just silly. The camera control is all over the place. Like, once you start getting into some of this level geometry, the camera just kind of gives up and dies as it's trying desperately to handle things. The gun clips through the ground. But it's still not Desert Gunner. And that's what kind of amazes me. You'd think that a game like Desert Gunner, for instance, where the only thing it has to do is simulate the experience of shooting a turret. And they didn't manage to even get that right. And this one, it actually lets you move around. The levels are fairly large. I wonder if there's any benefit to exploring. Probably. Actually, there is. There are power-ups lying around the place, so yeah, you can get extra ammo. Things like that for special weapons. The plot is obviously hysterically stupid. I don't know if it's even possible for a tank of this caliber to take damage from RPGs, but never mind. I know for a fact that there were no Challenger 2s disabled by RPGs during the Iraq conflict. But hey, it's video games. They've got to do some damage, otherwise what would be the point in having them? Plus, there's no point in putting a minigun on your tank if you can't gun down terrorists with them. This is actually surprisingly not awful. It's not smart or good by any stretch of the imagination. But at least, unlike something as terrible as Desert Gunner, it's playable. And there's a reason, I suppose, to play it for a couple of hours. Man. Just one step away from Caspian border, isn't it? Well, they were trying. There wasn't a huge amount of that stuff back in 2003. It was definitely there. Do not get me wrong, absolutely not. It was certainly there, but the fact that they're at least trying with the ragdolls with a little bit of destructible terrain. The fact that I can't get over a tank trap, yet can very easily ram through a boulder 3 times the size of my tank. That's always amusing. It's very strange to see what parts of the level it'll actually let you go through and what parts it really doesn't want to. Why? Why can I drive through a boulder? Because I'm America! In an armored shell. America does not recognize the sovereignty of these rocks. Not at all. These tank traps are actually infuriating. It's kind of naff, isn't it? There's no question about it. It is naff. But at least it's playable, and at least you can kind of see what they were trying to do with it. And at the time this came out, it certainly wouldn't have been a blockbuster, but it would have been a reasonable little game to kind of pass the time for a little while. You buy this on the cheap for a kid, and they're probably going to have a couple of hours of entertainment out of it. And that, as they say, is kind of that. Let's blast open the door. With my Mountain Dew smoothbore cannon. I'm trying. There we go. And that is where half the game's art budget went. That might be the most metal mission complete screen ever. Look at this! So military.
The border gates are dust. Awaiting orders. Over.
Good work. You are now in terrorist-controlled territory, so watch out for minefields. Ahead is a key oil refinery. Intelligence reports that they're basing their operations in 3 buildings there. Use everything you've got to bring those buildings down, Commander. This is a night mission, so keep your eyes open for surprises. Good luck.
Roger that, HQ. Proceeding to secure oil refinery. Over.
Hint, shoot as much stuff as possible. Lovely. And apparently there is Hellfire cannon ammo available. I actually don't know how to switch the controls. Oh, just when you go to the menu, it breaks. What are the controls to actually... Next minigun round is E. Okay, fine. Abandoned tank. I can't imagine why you'd want to do that. That doesn't seem particularly helpful. Oh, yeah, I mean, these days a game like this has no value. Like, none. And at the time, you could definitely see this selling as kind of as budgetware and it not being absolutely awful in every way. You know, it is at least still playable. It continues to be playable. But obviously, it really has no place on Steam. Like, it has no inherent value. I think there's a reason why a title like this is not on GOG. And that's kind of the big difference, isn't it? Why is this game not on GOG, whereas it's on Steam? Well, it's not on GOG because GOG actually have some quality standards. And they're looking to get classics onto their service. Oh. Well, there is that. This also might be the reason why they're not... I take back everything I said earlier. This is obviously complete and total rubbish. Ugh. A tank. An armored behemoth. Now it will enter the Twilight Zone. Well, this is brilliant. I am the US Army's new secret weapon. Can I destroy stuff from under here? That would be hilarious. Oh. I can't get the tank shell high enough. That... Okay. I think I found the reason why this game deserves this video. Wow. Come on! I just want to find one of these kind of ancient games that I've never heard of on Steam. Just one that's actually worth playing. That actually has some inherent value in this day and age, whether it be through nostalgia. Did I kill him? Did I get him? Oh, I'm playing on hard. I got him. Now we're playing on hard mode. All right. This is perfect. This is basically the same as Battlefield 4 on launch. This is incredible. Have we got him? Did we get him? Nope, need to be a little higher. There we go. Alright, I think I can hit him from here. I'm not sure if he's dead yet. He looks like he might be. Did he just disappear? Yeah, I got him. Excellent. Now, this is the strategy. I mean, to be fair, if the US military had used this during Desert Storm, then the war wouldn't have lasted a day. Okay, I think we can safely say that this is not going to be the title that I'm looking for that disproves my theory that all of this tosh that is ending up on Steam is anything but a horrendous waste of your time and money. Yep, this is terrible. I don't care who made it at this point. Steam doesn't seem to know who made it, and I personally couldn't give a toss. It's arse. Complete arse. This is Big Rig's level of awful right now. Oh, dear lord. Ooh, the secret pole. I found something under the ground that I can actually hit. Wow. This Iraqi engineering is truly something to behold. Now I'm stuck and can't move. Desert Thunder. Another quality title brought to you by whoever the hell knows at this point. Available for the low, low price of $10. Or you could pay $10 for someone to punch you in the balls. It would be a fairly similar experience, but it would be blissfully shorter. My name has been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for watching. You are now trapped and you can never leave. I'll see you next time.